Nintendo has yet again wowed us with unparalleled innovation, coming up with the next big thing in the gaming world. A camera is what we said in 1998, and in 2008, and in 2011, and in 2012.
And we're definitely saying it again, because Nintendo's big innovations for the Switch 2 are rats and a camera. And I love cameras. They're great for saving memories, harassment, pausing an entire activity while everyone is having fun to take one singular picture, and... no, not good for that. But Nintendo seems to share my love for cameras. So let's try to understand what's led them to this perfect, creative, and economic vision on today's episode of PM Jerry, covering Nintendo's obsession with cameras.
Nintendo's camera obsession started in 1998 with the Game Boy camera. This is the single worst camera in the world.
This one's good for that.
Unlike every other Nintendo camera, it's not actually compatible with any specific game, since it goes in the Game Boy's game slot. To compensate, it comes with 4 games baked into the thing, being Ball, a Game & Watch game, Run, 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 a game where you press A lot to go forward and then B sometimes, DJ, which is just a really bad music maker, and Space Fever 2, which is actually kind of a game. And none of these have anything to do with a camera. Every single time, the game just puts your face somewhere on the screen. But hey, you can do this. Did not edit that in the slightest. That's just what happens when you press the run button in the shoot mode, which isn't like hidden or anything. That's something you would eventually do if you had the camera. I think Nintendo just wanted to kill a couple kids. Wow, I love cameras and this product. Surely this sold like shit. Okay, it sold 500,000 units in 3 weeks. In Japan. So as it turns out, cameras in 1998 were much rarer, especially digital ones. Sure, right now there's a camera 4 inches from your crotch at any given time, but back then, if you wanted even a super cheap Polaroid camera, it was $100 minimum, which is almost $200 adjusted for inflation before you even got the film. So if your kid wanted to take pictures, which we know every kid wants to do, just buy them a $50 accessory for their Game Boy and call it a day, which gave Nintendo a taste of camera-based success. Exact sales are not known, but this definitely made Nintendo tons of money. And as we all know, money. So they were definitely thinking about cameras after this and just waiting for their next chance to make another one, especially with how quickly camera technology would progress over the coming years, thanks to the item that would eventually cause the collapse of society. Cell phones were one of the fastest developing technologies in the early 2000s, as they quickly went from a communication device to an everything device. And for Nintendo, this was good news and bad news. The bad news was smartphones were starting to become capable of playing games, which threatened to push Nintendo out of the market. The good news is, it became significantly easier to access explicit content.
Oh my god, it's real.
Also, technology significantly advanced for
cameras!
Which made it incredibly easy for Nintendo to make the best upgraded version of a console to ever exist. The Nintendo DSi. This is probably the most notable upgrade to a Nintendo console ever, other than the Game Boy Color, but Game Boy Color is kind of cheating. So this one is the best actually because it has a camera. It has a forward-facing camera and a selfie camera, multiple filters to help personalize your photos, and Facebook connectivity. It lacks video capability and still looks like this, which was bad even for the time, but hey, Facebook. But what actually matters is the innovative gaming possibilities this opens up, like looking around the room and shooting at things.
Immersion!
Who could forget such amazing games as System Flaw Recruit? I mean, they got a white guy who's clearly really enjoying the game on the cover. Amazing experiences like Photo Dojo, where you take a picture of yourself and put yourself in the game. Just like the incredibly innovative Game Boy camera. And who could forget the universal experience we all had of making seek and find puzzles out of actual pictures you took, which doesn't even really make sense because the point of them is their specific shapes hidden in ordinary things, but instead it's just ordinary things now.
There it is! A guitar!
And you multiply that across approximately 70 compatible games, and you have a pretty powerful DSi library. I didn't check every game, but this basically covers the extent of all DSi games. You always either take a picture and put it in the game, or you look around and PNGs appear all over the screen.
Fuck! Immersion!
which is amazing. The immersion of watching my body beat people up is unmatched. How could Nintendo possibly top such an innovative and perfect idea?
Wait a minute. Holy shit! 2 cameras!
The Nintendo 3DS stars 1 selfie camera and 2 forward cameras. I know, it felt like an impossibility when I heard it too, but it's true. Nintendo is putting multiple circles on the back of their devices before Apple. These multiple circles are so you can shoot highly advanced 3D videos. What beautiful childhood memories in 3 dimensions, so I can understand and feel what it was like being in a car at 10 years old with nothing to do. This incredible innovation is not all there is, though. You can finally record video for the first time on a Nintendo console. You can also actually adjust the camera settings. They have tons of new filters, including this one that only activates when you're blowing on it, which makes it much more difficult to pose for a photo. Or the mystery effect option, which takes a picture with random settings. Or even one that just deep fries the image. There's also 2 new birds. This bird, and the ability to post to the Bird app, which if you did, that means that your 3DS pictures are now a permanent part of the Twitter AI Grok. Now, it wasn't exclusively better compared to the DSi camera. For one, it was missing some of the filters that the DSi had, particularly missing a lot of the face distortion options. But the bigger deal is it was arguably a worse camera. I mean, with the 3DS, you can control the camera settings, so I'm sure that someone who knows what they're doing could utilize the 3DS better, but to a guy who still frequently accidentally records his footage sideways, the DSi is a better camera. So you could pretty easily say that Nintendo just made a worse product. What an innovation 3D video is, though. This amazing camera swept America, with people filming using a 3DS camera across so many situations. Sir, is that a recording device?
Yeah, is it like super cool?
Sir, you can't record on that in here.
No, it's like, this is like an older thing. It's got like a retro look to the video.
Sir, we're gonna have to ask you to leave.
No.
Come with me.
Hey, there's still women I want to objectify.
And with such an amazing camera, video game companies immediately took advantage by making games where you look around the room and shoot at things and take pictures of yourself and put them in the game.
Immersion!
And if you're not wowed yet, wait until you find out about augmented reality games. When you buy a 3DS, it comes with this set of AR cards. And when you open the 3DS's AR games application, you get to see...
Who the fuck are you? Get out of my house, get out of my house.
With the advanced technology of image recognition and cameras, you can put Mario in your house. And it's not just Mario. You can put Link, Samus, Kirby, Pikmin, and me in your house. And the amazing features don't stop there. You can also play golf, fish, and look around the room and shoot at things. Wow, what an amazing offering of content for a game kids across the world surely lost hours and hours to. Other games also use the AR features, like Kid Icarus, where you can scan a card and get a thing, or Fossil Fighters, where you can scan a card and get a thing. And who could forget Disney's Magical World, where you scan a card and get a thing? Well, there were some more immersive things, like these really cool Bravely Default cutscenes where the cutscene plays around you. Who would want anything more than scan card, get thing? AR cards were used across a whopping 16 3DS games. How many 3DS games were there? 1,807, which means AR cards were used in less than 0.01% of games. Wow, developers must have been stupid to utilize this so little. Or am I the stupid one?
Is there a reason people aren't using these features, like, at all? Maybe they're not as useful to me as they seem. I mean, this is the 3rd camera in a row I've struggled to find interesting uses for. Maybe Nintendo is just wasting their time with these incredible innovations. Wii U camera!
The Wii U has a camera, and the Wii U was a bastion of innovative game design, and the camera was no exception. Used across Nintendo Land, Game & Wario, Zombie U, Wii Party U, Wii Fit U, Tank, Just Dance, and I'm out of examples. They don't even have a game where you look around the room and shoot at things. So it was basically completely useless, and I think it pretty much only exists for Wii U Chat, which is an application that allows you to make video calls over the Wii U. It was 2012, Nintendo. Everyone has access to some sort of phone at this point. Who's gonna use a Wii U to video chat? Are they trying to compete with Skype? I don't get it. They could have put effort into making the gamepad, work well. These cameras are almost always a waste of effort. While it is blatantly obvious with the gamepad, it helps us see that the other cameras were also quite clearly a waste of time. The only exception is maybe the Game Boy camera because it sold well, but it's still not good for really anything other than novelty. The DSi and 3DS also sold well, but they clearly sold well because they were portable Nintendo consoles, not because they had a camera.
There's really never a good reason to add a camera to a gaming console. Which brings us to the thing that inspired this whole video. The Nintendo Switch 2 camera.
If you're not aware, Nintendo is adding a camera to the Nintendo Switch 2. Thus far, it has been shown to have video chat capabilities and can be utilized to put you in video games. Now, this camera does have significantly more capabilities for games than the other cameras, since it can use your whole body and the camera isn't attached to the console. But what does this actually bring to the table? It is compatible with the new game chat feature, allowing you to show your face in the chat with your friends, but other than flashing your friends over Nintendo Switch Online, who is going to use this? The camera is not required for game chat, and you already have to pay $20 a year for Nintendo Switch Online to access this feature. So who's going to pay $50 more for the ability to show your face? Something most people don't want to do. So no one is going to buy it for this online stuff. But hey, this camera is different from all of these other cameras. Maybe this camera could inspire some really creative uses for games. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about another camera. A non-Nintendo camera, the Xbox Kinect.
Is this our chance? For camera redemption?
After the amazing success that was the Nintendo Wii, Sony and Microsoft knew they had to hop on the success of motion controls. And while Sony was busy making crappy sex toys, Microsoft made a camera. With the Xbox Kinect, your body is the controller. Through a series of infrared projectors and RGB cameras, the Kinect can detect any movement your body makes and translate it into the game. This truly was going to be the Wii's greatest rival, the clear next step for motion control gaming. Many companies immediately started developing games for it because they believed it was going to be a surefire success. And they were right. It sold 8 million units in 60 days, getting it the Guinness World Record for the fastest selling consumer electronics device. Not just video games, all consumer electronics. And all of this early success the Kinect had led to absolutely nothing. After its launch, it was never relevant again, not even a single time. While it sold really well at launch, for the rest of its life, across 2 consoles and Windows compatibility, it only sold 17 million more units, which is still more than the Wii U. Nintendo stays on bottom. But that's still horrible in comparison to how successful it was at launch. Why did it flop so hard? Well, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a developer seeing the Kinect's early success. It's incredibly clear that you need to make a game for it. You just need the right idea to make all of your dreams of success come true and for all of the money of middle-class families to be put into your pocket. What do you do?
All right, boyos, this Kinect thing is sweeping the nation, and we need the perfect game to put on it to make money. So what I was thinking was like when the player comes up to a specific obstacle, they have to like hit a pose, like a punch or a kick, or maybe they have to run really fast to get away from the enemies, and then they have to like push things out of the way, or maybe they have to jump to get over things, or maybe it's like a balance and they gotta do this to balance over the balance beam. Or we can give the player a sword, and when the enemy does this, when they block this side, you gotta swing that side. When the enemy blocks this side, you gotta swing that side. Oh. And then, we can throw a dance mini game in there for good measure, because it's basically the same thing. It's just like more flamboyant poses. This is perfect. It's exciting. It's innovative. It's the same game everybody made.
There is no other gameplay applications other than hitting specific poses to win the game. Nobody could come up with anything else. And while some games were able to do this in more fun ways, at the end of the day, hitting the right pose at the right time isn't fun enough to warrant an entire $150 console accessory. It's a complete waste of effort and space because just like Nintendo's cameras, it just isn't as fun and innovative as it seems. And I don't see any way that the Switch 2 camera is going to dodge this problem. It will have the same basic games and it will flop just the same. There is no doubt in my mind. It may have some more capabilities than Kinect. It may be cheaper than the Kinect, but it doesn't have anything that'll spark that creativity that other Nintendo features have. At this point, it's a tale as old as time. A gaming company releases a special camera as an accessory or a part of their console, and it goes nowhere.
In fact, the tale is so old at this point I'm going to predict the rest of the Switch 2 camera's lifespan from start to finish.
First off, the camera will be shown off across all pre-release commercials, pushing as an incredible new innovative feature and also hopefully tricking some people into thinking it's necessary for the console. It'll release to lukewarm reviews. The build quality will be complimented, and while plenty of people bought it and had a good time with it in Mario Party Jamboree, nobody sees it being something they're booting up all the time to play. While some great jokes are made around it with the communication feature, it ultimately isn't adopted widely enough to inspire that many people to buy it. And there's enough glitches and problems with the new feature that most people stick to Discord. Within a month of its release, a video will be put on the internet of someone putting it where the sun don't shine. It continues to see minor uses across some Nintendo games over the coming years, but nothing amazing. While some people will beg for it to get its Wii Sports or Nintendo Land moment, it never does. Nintendo never discounts or makes a cheaper version of the camera, but they still put the camera in almost every ad for the console, hoping to continue to trick people into thinking it's a necessary accessory. Nothing notable will happen until about halfway through the console's lifespan, a WarioWare game releases and randomly has the best use for the camera anyone has ever seen. No one will capitalize on this. While developing the next console, Nintendo caves and just allows direct Discord integration for the GameCube too. And the camera fades into obscurity, sitting on video game resale store shelves for $10. You know, it's easy to think that when you're creating a game of some kind, whether it's a full-fledged video game or some rinky-dink D&D campaign for your friends, that adding some kind of new thing will spice the game up in all kinds of unforeseen ways. But that just isn't always the case. The existence of a new option does not mean it's a useful option, and you'd think video game companies of all things would understand this. But no, while all kinds of crazy interesting innovations have happened in the gaming world over the years, video game companies, especially Nintendo, just love to release their consoles with these clearly useless features. And I understand, Nintendo just believes in creativity and want their new consoles to always be interesting in their own ways. But they need to think through their new ideas before they release them. I mean, an IR camera? Really, Nintendo? Wait, fuck, that's a camera I didn't talk about.
Listen, I am beyond excited for the Nintendo Switch 2 and cannot wait for the thing to come out. Mario Kart, DK, Air Riders all have me quivering in excitement. But when I was watching that direct and saw another camera, I couldn't help but be underwhelmed. But hey, I've been wrong before, even though I've never been wrong before. So maybe this camera will wow me in ways I can't even predict. But I just don't see it happening. And with that, I'm all out of thoughts on Nintendo's cameras. Did you have any thoughts on any of these products? Be sure to tell your mom. And until next time, do you think I could fit up my ass? I feel like if I got the camera at just the right angle, it'd like slide right in.